And because 99% of all the files in a game project are binary files instead of text files, using Git as a version control system is actually not a great idea. In one of my previous videos about different game engines, I briefly let it slip that I don't have a lot of love for Git. One of the biggest and also most popular collaboration tools in the industry actually. Little did I know that I would be getting a lot of comments on it asking if I could further explain why I don't like it. Well, I am more than happy to explain it. But before we all end up raging about who has the best version control, let's keep things civil. Git sucks! Git, one of the version control systems, is a piece of software that is designed to safely store all the changes you and your fellow teammates make to your project's code, so that if you find out that you made a mistake 4 months ago, you can revert back to the state that your code was at that time. Of course, this is just, well, a small part of what Git has to offer, but it's the gist of it. Now let me show you how Git, the OG Git, the way it is still intended to be used, looks like. If only. This is the command window called git bash, which is basically the same of interface of an old DOS computer. With this interface, you have to do everything you want to with Git, and you will need to do it with text commands. Good joke, Dominic. I mean, for real? Text commands? Yeah, I'm going to make a statement here. Coders, you can all hate me for it, I don't care, but if you require anyone on your team to be able to work with the command prompt window and text commands, you are sadly mistaken. Artists won't do it, game designers won't do it, even I as a game programmer won't do it, just won't do it. But we're in luck, because sometime in the early 2000s, the bright minds that loved Git so much thought of something amazing. They said to each other, "Hey, psst, let's make a graphical user interface." Just like Apple did back in the 80s. So now everyone that can use a computer can use Git with something like Git Desktop, a nice looking user interface that sometimes mostly works.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Unfortunately, the GUIs are not a magic fix, as they often don't show the advanced options you sometimes need to fix a broken repository. I mean, how do they even break? Or sometimes projects become too big or are wrongly set up. And in those cases, you will need the command window and also someone that knows how to use it. And to be on standby all the time to fix the repositories when they break. Well, I love it when that person is on holiday. And apart from certain issues, using a GUI like GitHub Desktop is actually really easy. You clone a repository from whatever cloud service you're using to a location on your hard drive, you edit files, commit the changes to your local repository, push these changes into the cloud repository, and now all your changes will forever be saved in the cloud repository, and all your team members can pull these changes to their PC. Doesn't this require a lot of disk space on the cloud repository? Well, no, not really, because programmers write code, and code is stored in text files. These text files can contain a lot of text and still remain very small. Additionally, the changes made to text files can be stored more smartly, so that every change to the file that is actually pushed is very, very small in size.
Hi, my name is Arthur, and I'm a 2D artist. Are JPEG images also, text files?
Hi Arthur. No, JPEGs, PNGs, TIFFs, GIFs, and whatever, actually anything other than plain text are what we call binary files. But no problem, because Git also supports binary files, just not as well. It'll use more space on the cloud repository, but it'll work.
Arthur here again. So I've got this single TIFF image. I know I shouldn't be using TIFF files, but it's really important that the texture quality remains intact, and GitHub Desktop gives me this error when I try to commit it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, okay. Well, for bigger files, we're going to install a Git add-on called Git LFS, short for long file support. And now we can add bigger files to Git as well. Just don't add too many, Arthur.
Senior here. We're getting emails from our Git cloud repository servers that we've passed their paywall 15 times and now we have to pay over €300 a month for the supposedly free Git repo. What happened?
Arthur, how many TIFF files did you commit to the repo?
Just 20. I had to commit them multiple times because first I saw that their naming was wrong and then I saw that the visual artifacts from a mistake I made. But when I fixed the error and committed it, I saw that I made another mistake and then I had to fix this one and then I committed again and it was
Okay, so Git's main purpose is to safely store any changes to any file in your project ever. All the changes to text type files are small, as Git can smartly store only the changed lines instead of restoring each file again and again and again. Binary files are a little bit different because, well, when you change a JPEG, for example, even if it's just one pixel that you changed in color, it can be a big change in how the file looks if you look at the zeros and ones. And then there's the Git LFS add-on, which basically is just a Dropbox or a Google Drive cloud space. And committing a file, a big file with Git LFS will just upload the file over and over and over again to the cloud repository. If you commit 20 files, each around 100 megabytes big, and you recommit them 10 times, it means it will take 20,000 megabytes of cloud space. My bigger Unity projects are all bigger than 100 gigabytes with many files that are big and have to use Git LFS. To keep those projects active in a Git cloud repository would cost me hundreds, if not thousands euros a month. Is it fixable? Sure. It's probably just all user error. I'm sure I could set up the Git repo in such a way that it stays smaller, or I could commit smarter. Instead of making many changes on big files and committing them to the Git repo in between each change, just commit them once a month, probably. But do you remember the way we had to double clutch cars to shift? No, me neither, because it was stupid and smart engineers found a way to make sure we don't have to double clutch anymore. When cars became easier to shift, they didn't actually become less complex, they were just getting easier to drive. For this exact reason, I prefer to use a version control that I can't make a mistake on when setting it up, because there's no setup to set up. It just works out of the box for my intended use, all the while remaining as complex as I require for my project, and preferably also one that Arthur can commit to, so his work is always backed up without bankrupting a company. I'm very sure that in a team of hardcore coders alone you won't have a lot of these issues, or maybe there aren't even called issues, just hiccups and proper setup. But the way I see it, for everyone else, Git is an expensive, high maintenance and very not user-friendly piece of software. Hey, you know the best part? There are alternatives! Yeah! In the past I've used Git, SVN, Perforce, Collaborate, and now I landed on Plastic SCM. At least that's what it was called before they were taken over by Unity, and now it's just called Unity Version Control. And this is it. This is Unity Version Control, just as usable for everything else if you aren't using Unity at all. You change your files, commit them to the repo, and, well, yeah, it has many of the same features that Git has. And it's still far from perfect, but I think it's a lot better for small indie teams the way I see it. I highly recommend the Git users out there to at least try out the alternatives, at least once, broaden your mind. And for the real diehards, you can even use Plastic with the command window. But why you would do this and why you would like to torture yourself like that is beyond me, but hey, it's up to you. Alright, that's enough Git bashing for this week. How is your Git experience thus far? Are you having a better experience than I've had? Please let me know in the comments. I've been working very hard on Cyberdam, my Cyberdam project. So for everyone getting tired of all this techie stuff, I promise some epic Cyberpunk level design in my next video coming week. Hope to see you there.